We need to get out of here.
Konstantin.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning into AmysCrypt. Today I am in Vienna, Austria, and I am taking you to one of its creepiest, most haunted cemeteries. Alright, so we had a bit of a journey to get here in a taxi, which was a little bit of a nightmare. He was an older chap and he didn't know where he was going, he didn't know how to use his phone or GPS. And he just started yelling at people on the street for help and directions, but we found it. It's a little bit out of town and I'm gonna put some directions in the blog that I write for this one. You'll be able to find that on AmysCrypt.com because it is kind of tricky to find, but we did it, we found it. All right, so we've just made it to this tiny, creepy cemetery in Vienna, Austria. It is known as the Cemetery of the Nameless. It's actually right next door to a big factory. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna walk through and just have a look around and tell you a bit about the history of this place, which is quite interesting and a little bit dark. This cemetery is very close to the Danube River, which is a very large river that flows through Vienna. The cemetery was actually constructed because there was a number of bodies washing up ashore from the river of people that were nameless, that they had no idea who they were, didn't know their backgrounds, names, or anything about them. And as they weren't sure what to do with these nameless bodies, they constructed a cemetery where they could come and bury these nameless people, hence the name. It's said that a lot of them are probably suicide victims who jumped into the river, and for that they didn't want them in a lot of the Catholic burial grounds, so this place is for them. I read online that there is this small cemetery here. It contains 101 graves. Of them, I think 61 of the people still remain unnamed. NAMELESS, which is German, translates to nameless, but this one here has a name and some dates and more information on it. So I'm not sure on the background on how they identified these bodies that ended up here, but some of them definitely have names to go with them. A lot of the reason why I come to these places is the ghost stories and the rumors that they are, supposedly haunted, and this place is quite notorious for ghost sightings. So a lot of the reason why people believe it to be haunted stems from the nameless people buried here. So they think that their souls are a bit restless and they're still kind of trapped here roaming the cemetery, and there has been a lot of supposed apparition sightings, disembodied voices, all sorts of strange, unexplainable occurrences that have been reported here. There is also rumours that the ghost of a former caretaker also haunts the area. There's a much larger cemetery, or supposedly a larger cemetery, towards the back of this area that is abandoned, much more overgrown and not maintained at all, and that contains a lot more bodies who again are nameless also. This one's a bit more modern and a bit younger, so I think we're going to hang around until we lose sunlight and it gets dark, and we might try and reach out and do a bit of investigating, but until then we're going to explore. So I've noticed a lot of the graves sort of had little trinkets or flowers left on them, which is kind of cool because I wasn't really sure that that was something I expected to see here. There is this weird hut just behind me. I don't actually know what that is, so we're gonna go in for a closer look. I think that was just bark falling from the tree. Yeah, this just looks like it holds tools and stuff. There is a cross inside there though, just in the corner. I don't know if that's sort of for repair or maybe spare cross. I'm not even sure if there's still accepting interments here, so they're still burying people. I don't actually know. There's also up here, just before you descend down into the cemetery, a big chapel. So we'll walk up to that and check that out too. So it looks like there's a little shrine here. There's a lot of these nut things. I don't know what they are. If anyone does, leave me a comment. I've seen a lot of them around though. But yeah, people must actually come here and pay their respects somewhat. Like some of these have teddy bears and all sorts on them. I think there's a shrine in the tree as well. Yeah, check that out. Alright, so before we lose sunlight, do you want to go exploring and see if we can find any of the supposedly abandoned parts of the graveyard? Yeah? Okay. Follow me. Okay, so we've just scaled this back wall up here, trying to get a little bit higher to see if we can find any more of the cemetery. Around here, there isn't too much. There's a road here, and then kind of another fence and a bunch of logs. So I read online that the cemetery was kind of behind this one. Maybe we look in here or a bit more. Let's go this way. Going, but we're going to follow this path. Can't really see much of anything in there. Just go for a little walk. So we've been exploring the area described online for the abandoned section of the cemetery. It says that it is just beyond the embankment, and that the maintained small one that exists today was kind of built in the middle of it. Kind of look around me, this is just what we're seeing. It's just kind of overgrown, and I don't see any remnants of markers or tombstones or crosses or anything to that effect. So unless they were really unnamed and unmarked and just buried here, I don't actually know. I mean, it's possible, but we're not actually we're looking, but we're not seeing anything. I have no idea. So Jared just found these big pieces of stone on the ground. I don't know, they could be tombstones or... yeah, I don't know. I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information online about this abandoned section, but I read it, so we thought we'd investigate and check it out. Let's go to the other side. Things I do for AmysCrypt. Okay. So Jared just called me down here because he found piles of stones. Ow. And I think you actually found piles of snail shells.
No, but there's more around here.
Oh, is it? These ones are snail shells. It's like a whole pile of them. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely some rocks on the floor.
Piles of rocks. There's one there.
Yeah.
There's one there. Maybe these are the unmarked graves.
It could be. I don't know. Let's take a look.
There's another pile of rocks there.
So this part is actually much closer to the cemetery in the middle, so maybe they are. So there's more rock piles here as well. I don't know that they're significant or they mean anything. So I'm really hoping that that factory behind me shuts down at some point. It's been going since we got here. It is getting dark and later now. It's almost 7, and I'm hoping by the time it is dark that it's quiet, because it does limit what kind of experiments we can conduct here. And the cemetery, it looks like it should be peaceful, but it really isn't a peaceful resting spot with that racket going on. So what do you guys think? Have you ever seen or heard of graves being marked in that way? I haven't, and I actually don't think that they are grave markers, just because how they're placed and positioned. It is a little bit odd though. Now the sun's starting to go down, so we're going to wait it out to stay here a bit longer and do some paranormal investigations, but we might just, yeah, take a look through the cemetery again. So Jared just heard something weird. Tell me what you heard.
So I left the cemetery, just outside the cemetery, and was minding my own business.
Right.
I had to pee. And as I was, minding my own business, I heard like someone whistling, as if like someone was coming up the path, but then there was no one there. But I mean, there's a factory behind us, so
yeah, there's a lot of workers around.
There's probably a worker, but it was just creepy. I was standing in like pitch black.
Someone was watching you.
Someone was whistling, like some sort of a tune.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see anything. It was just pitch black. It was pretty spooky.
That is spooky. Alright guys, I'm going to try a ghost tube session in the cemetery of the Nameless. I have set the language on the app to German. It has a ghost dictionary which can provide words from a database based on environmental fluctuations, such as those in the magnetic field. Going to walk around and see if we capture any strange fluctuations in the magnetic field or words, specifically names. Since we're in the cemetery of the Nameless, I wanted to see if we could maybe pull up a name. Now, I do not speak German. I'm going to try and call out and ask, what is your name? And then we'll go for a walk around and see what happens. I think a nut just dropped out of the tree behind me. And then we'll go for a walk around and see what happens. And then we'll go for a walk around and see what happens. And then we'll go for a walk around and see what happens. But let's do this. Wie lautet dein Name? Okay, so that is probably very poorly pronounced German for what is your name. And now we're going to go for a walk through the cemetery. There is a lot of background noise. That factory behind us hasn't slowed down. That's a little bit irritating because we're not going to be able to look out for any EVPs, really. Now, I cannot vouch for the accuracy of Ghost Tube, but it is an interesting tool that is kind of cool to use and something a little bit different. If you guys want to grab it for yourself, it is on the Apple Store at the time of filming. This is actually an app that Jared created himself, and he is working on the Android version. So my magnetic readings, there's a sound over there, it's maybe something else falling from the tree. My magnetic readings are quite steady. So I'm using Google Translate to try and learn bits of different languages of the countries that I travel to, and I'm not even great at speaking English. Wie lautet dein Name? Okay, we're towards the back of the cemetery now. Gonna keep walking around. Wie lautet dein Name?
Konstantin.
I just got Konstantin.
Konstantin?
Konstantin. Konstantin. Konstantin.
Konstantin with a K. That sounds like a name. I know the name Konstantin with a C. But maybe there's different ways of writing that. No one really knows who a lot of the people buried in this cemetery are. They might not even speak German. I can't say for sure. So unfortunately it's way too noisy to try an EVP, or I would have loved to, but we're gonna try a spirit box here shortly, though I can't stop thinking about who these people are, who they may be, what their stories are, and it's unfortunate that they're nameless and we don't know. Alright guys, I'm standing basically in the middle of the cemetery of the Nameless. I'm going to try and do a spirit box session here. I am going to try and call out in German. If you speak German and you do hear anything, I would love to know in the comments if you picked out any words or phrases. That would really help me out. Hallo, mein Name ist Amy. Hello, my name is Amy. Blick mit mir. Talk to me. Wie lautet dein Name? What is your name? Wie lautet dein Name? Wie bist du gestorben? How did you die? Where bist du? Who are you? Wie alt sind Sie? How old are you? Bist du der Hausmeister? Are you the caretaker? Danke. Thank you. Okay, so there was definitely some responses there. It doesn't mean that it was a spirit communicating through this device with me. This sweeps through radio stations really quickly, and it's thought that spirits can use the device to communicate, though it very well could just be interference from radio, maybe radio presenters. Terrible at listening to this in the moment, and very terrible when it's not a language that I'm familiar with. So I've got some work to do reviewing this footage. Alright guys, that's it from me for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, so I can keep taking you to these creepy places. I'm gonna start walking back towards Vienna. There's a mall about 4 kilometers away, and hopefully I can find a taxi back. Otherwise, I have no idea how we're getting home. I think it's about a 2.5 hour walk. If you're looking for more reading on this place or other haunted locations, head to AmysCrypt.com. And remember guys, until next time, stay spooky.